Hey guys, it's Debbie, and I hope you all are doing well. I wanted to come on here and do another live. Forgive me if I can't read the comments while they're going in case they're going too quickly. It's not that I'm ignoring you. I've only done this on this platform a couple of times, and I do actually need readers in order to read the comments. But what I wanted to come on and do was like a kind of a quick little tutorial. I have actually done this on one of the other platforms where I was streaming. Hi, thanks for joining. And in case you're not following me on that platform, I wanted to talk about a recent art project that I did for an exhibition that was here locally a couple of months ago. And I entitled this My Muse Walt because it actually is Walt. And you can see by my name, Disney Diva Deb, that I'm a huge Disney fan. And again, I'm not having anyone monitor the comments, but I've gotten like the other filters off. So I'm like really learning this platform a little bit better. But I wanted to show you guys this picture that I did. And this is Walt, and it's a mixed media piece. And I wanted to show you guys how it actually started out. This is a photograph of Walt Disney that I actually got on the back. It's actually like a flyer or handout from one of the parks. And I decided that I was going to do this for Capturing Essence, which was the name of the exhibition. And I was like, well, how am I going to do this? Well, I'm kind of old school in my ways of doing things. And there's a lot of different ways you could do that. Like if I didn't want to ruin this, that was one of the ways that I tried to do this so that I didn't have to draw a grid over that. But that's like super old school on how to actually do something. So what I did was I took an actual picture of this, okay, with my phone, and then I sent it to my computer so that it was actually on my laptop. Then what I went ahead and did was, this is actually a thin canvas, just like this. What I did was I took a piece of cellophane because at the time I did not have any tracing paper. So I went ahead and took this and actually adhered this cellophane to my laptop, okay, onto the screen really, really carefully. And then I used a China marker and I put the image on there and I traced the image. I went ahead and did the whole thing with his hands, which are down here, but it turns out it did not fit onto the canvas. Plus I didn't want to fool with that. And then I added in my own details. Like I decided that I wanted to have little Mickeys over here. I decided on this side that I wanted like an old school banner to look like the Disneyland flag. And that's how the whole process started out. So then what I actually did to mock this up was I cut out magazine pictures. Okay, again, super old school. Cut out magazine pictures of like flesh toned, people and just made that the skin. So I kind of like knew where the face was going to go. And I cut out eyes, I cut out eyebrows, I cut out something for the mustache, and I, formed his face and formed his chin so that actually underneath this piece is actually all of the pieces that were cut out of magazines. And in true Walt style, I've got my little pointer here, which happens to be a little Tinkerbell wand. And I'm going to kind of show you guys what I did. So this actually is the canvas, okay? And I wanted this to have a backstory behind it. So I wanted it to look like Walt was imagining Disney World in Florida, looking down from the heavens, if you will, through the clouds. Because if you know anything about Walt, he did not get to live to see Disney World in Florida actually come to fruition. His brother ended up taking over that project. And what's also really interesting is that Walt actually had the concept for Epcot long before it was ever built. So that's really cool. But anyway, so what I ended up doing was I got some flesh colored cardstock. And this is all flesh colored cardstock with colored pencil on here to make his face. I do have some pictures of this. All of this hair all along his hairline here is all tiny little Cinderella castles. Years ago, I had bought a paper punch for doing scrapbooking. So all of this gray and black for his hair is tiny little castles, and then some of it I colored along the border here. Then in the background here is actually maps of Magic Kingdom and maps of Epcot. And then I went ahead, all of these little clouds up here are watercolor. All the little clouds here, they're watercolor. And I had painted that prior to even envisioning this project. And then I had a little sticker kind of stencil of a little cloud. So what I did was, because I wanted to kind of see how it was going to form out, I turned it upside down so that when I cut out the cloud, I'd have an actual little bit of a surprise as to where the coloring was. Then you can see long here is, and I'll try to post a still picture of this as well. There's other pictures of it on some of my other platforms. This right here is all of the negatives, if you will, of where the castle was punched out. So I went on here with a tiny little white colored pencil, and I went through each of these so that it looked like negatives, from somebody taking a picture, because Walt was always known to have a picture around him. Now in this particular picture, if you look really close, it's a movie camera. Okay, this probably was the late 50s, early 60s, and it was a movie camera. I went ahead and made it look like it was just a regular camera from back in the day. So this is fabric, okay, and I made this little camera, and then I've got Mickey kind of popping out here. So this is supposed to symbolize him having taken pictures, and then that would be like negatives of the castle. This paper right here is actually on top of another paper. What I ended up doing to infuse this with family vibes, if you will, because we're all big Disney fans, was I actually tend to recycle and reuse everything, and it's actually envelopes. So his suit I actually lined with envelopes. Then I had some paper. This paper right here is actually paper with hand pressed petals from flowers, and I overlaid that over that, okay? And then I cut out these little Mickeys, and I wanted this to kind of look like a little lanyard that he was wearing. This is supposed to be his pocket square that he had, and then this little flower here is actually a real pressed flower that I had gotten from some scrapbooking material. And Walt was very patriotic. He actually kind of faked his age so that he could help out in the war, and he was too young to serve in a traditional position, if you will, but he was able to work for the Red Cross. So that is a buddy poppy to kind of think about how he, was very into the troops. And what's also really interesting is back in the day, when he was starting out his film company, he actually made training films for the military in his studio in California, different training films that they needed. So that is paying homage to his love of the military. And then here we've got this is I-4, and this happens to be all the exits for all 4 of the parks in Florida. And I put that kind of like it's kind of resting on his shoulder. And then here we've got a film reel, and that is actually right on the center of the map for Magic Kingdom, because Walt is known for what they call like the spokes kind of a thing, where something happens in the middle and then everything else kind of comes off of it. So I thought that was kind of cool. Plus he started out with movies, so that is a little film right there. I've got Tink right up here kind of hanging out with him. This is the monorail kind of going through the clouds, and Walt sort of envisioning that, because again Disneyland was built in 55. Magic Kingdom in Florida didn't open till 71. 1981. And, Walt had envisioned that. So that is also kind of like, I feel like in his thoughts and in his mind and that type of thing. And then over here, I went and colored these. Each are all little envelopes. And then I wrote Disney kind of on here, because if you've seen the old Disneyland, I haven't been there yet, that's on my bucket list, but the Disneyland iconic sign and, landmark has those old school, flags. And then up here, there's a little sticker again from some scrapbooking that says, here I am at the happiest place on earth. Now, then one other thing that I did too, because Walt, I've got two little Mickeys here, because Mickey, if you guys did not know, is actually Walt. So back in the day when the first animated cartoons came out with sound, Walt was the one that was actually doing Mickey's voice. And like they said, Mickey's kind of Walt's, it's Walt in his own little version, if you will. So this right here on his tie is actually the buttons on Mickey's red little trousers. So this is kind of what I came up with, and it's kind of I've become very attached to it. I'm a huge Disney fan, and I was over at my parents' house today, and we had recorded the How Disney Built America, because they weren't going to watch it live. And I've seen all the episodes. My husband watched one of them today. And I would like to remind you guys that if you would like a master class in marketing, a master class in innovation, a master class in just going for your dreams, there's 6 episodes. It's in conjunction with the History Channel. It was, a dramatic recreation, but all of the contributors are either former Disney staff members or historians, Disney and otherwise people that have maybe written Disney books, or just people that like history in general. And there is a History Channel app. You can watch it there, or you can watch it on like streaming on demand on the History Channel. And it is just fascinating, and it starts all the way back and it goes all the way until basically Magic Kingdom opened. And it is fascinating, and I'm going to watch it again. There's one thing that I watched more than once, and it's actually, I believe, in like the 5th episode, and there's such a thing called the Disney Synergy Map. Walt was a master marketer, and he had somebody on his team who was just incredible. And we can thank Walt for, merchandise, meaning t-shirts and just anything that's out there that has that on there. Because of him, different, companies have trademarked their things, and then they've also gone on and they've diversified what they have done, whether that be postcards, back in the early days, or that is something like, the streaming services that we all know now. So I just wanted to thank you guys for joining. And if you're just hopping on, what I was doing, and I do save these and I will probably post it to either this platform or another, there was a challenge, not a challenge like a Facebook challenge, because I'm all into those, but a local exhibition a couple of months ago called Capturing Essence. And I had not done portraits since I had been in college, and I was like, I don't even think I can do this, but if I was going to do it, who would I do? And of course I thought about Walt. This hangs in my room, and I went ahead and took this photograph, blew it up onto my computer so that I would have it onto my laptop, and then I did it super old school. I know that there's super easier ways to do that now, but this is literally what I did. I took a flat piece of very thin canvas. I traced it off of the computer with a China marker. I put it on here. It is reversed, I think. And now that I'm looking at this a little bit more, because as an artist, you tend to get, a little bit, too perfection or too picky about stuff, and I'm looking at things now thinking, oh gosh, his one ear isn't like as big as the other ear, but I wanted it to look like his head was turned. So anyway, but there's another really cool trick if you are an artist, because I did say that this was kind of a tutorial, and somebody told me this when I was a high school student, that if you get too into your head when you're creating a piece of art, whatever that piece of art is, but especially something that you are trying to replicate and make it look like something, and you may or may not have heard this, you actually want to turn it upside down and work on it. And I did that multiple times. What I actually did was I flipped the image upside down and rotated it on my computer so that I had that as reference. I flipped this upside down so I had a small, tangible, something I could hold on to. And I actually flipped this upside down while I was actually working on it, specifically when I was doing the shading, because Walt has a very specific look, and I didn't want him to look too young. I didn't want him to look too old. I had to put some wrinkles in here. You know, some pictures in real life show his hair as kind of a reddish color, but we're more, you know, used to seeing it kind of a black. I don't know what color hair he was born with naturally. I do know he was born in Chicago, so that's another connection that I have, because I was born in the western suburbs of Chicago, and I think that I have a really deep affection for him. Sadly, he passed away the year that I was born, so I feel like there was a lot in the news about that, because he was fairly young, and you know, he had had so much success with Disneyland in California, and you know, they had already purchased the land in Florida, and then they weren't sure what they were going to do. And I had family that lived in Florida, and I've mentioned this before, but you may not have heard it, that there was a Walt Disney Preview Center in Florida for a little over a year, about maybe 14 to 18 months before the Magic Kingdom actually opened. And it was to get people excited, and they sold exclusive merchandise. They had character greetings. They had people there answering questions. And we were just talking about this today, my parents and I, how fortunate my sister and I were that my mom's, I think, grandmother or somebody on her side said they've opened this preview center. And my parents kind of grew up in the Mickey Mouse TV era, and then the era of Wonderful World of Disney on TV. And so this was like a real live tangible place that we were able to go. We were trying to figure out if we have any merch from there or if we have any pictures. I'm hoping maybe we do. I've done a lot of research over that because I'm absolutely fascinated by it. But, I just wanted to give you guys an idea of how you can use mixed media to create something. So going back to this, just real quick recap, underneath all of this is cut out pieces of magazine pictures so that I could mock up the board so that I would know where everything was going to go. And then the finished product I adhered on top of that. So we've got flesh colored cardstock because it was a little sturdier with colored pencil on it. We've got watercolored clouds. We've got some maps from Epcot and Magic Kingdom because Walt had the vision for both of those before they were ever created. We've got, little things like the monorail. We've got the castles for his hairline. We've got little things here paying, attention to this, which was Mickey. We've got pressed flower paper. All of this trim on his suit is also ribbon, along with the ribbon around his camera. So I kind of took my own spin on what I thought it would be. And I forgot, I put these like little Mickey icon shaped, balloons, because that's super popular. I've got Tink up there. And another reason I've got Tink up there is last night I was watching one of these live streams that somebody was doing from Magic Kingdom, which is awesome that they do, where they were showing fireworks and everything. And they weren't sure if Tink was actually going to fly. And I don't know if they do that at all the other parks. I've never been, unfortunately, to any of the other ones yet. That's on my bucket list. But they weren't sure because of, inclement weather that we had. But it was fun, to watch that. So, Tink was always on Wonderful World of Disney. Like, you can pull this stuff up online and you can watch all of this. But I do want to encourage you, if you're an artist, if you are a Disney fan, if you are an enthusiast of marketing, if you are into brand building, I mean, the man was a genius with all of that. And it's called How Disney Built America. It's on the History Channel and the History Channel app. And it's just fascinating to see his determination, to see the whole storyline kind of unfold about how Mickey came about. Obviously from Oswald the Rabbit, if you guys know that story, how Universal was actually involved in this process way back in the day. Very fascinating too about the I don't want to spoil it for you guys, but it was really important that they kept Walt's vision for wanting a monorail. And when it came time to build the 3 original hotels around the Magic Kingdom, the lagoon there, the one that is the Contemporary, and if you've ever been on the monorail or seen it, it goes right through the the hotel, which is amazing. But just how Roy had to make that happen, just a lot of different things that had happened along the way. The fact that when he built up Disneyland in California, he didn't have as much property, so it was very important to him to have all this extra property in Florida. And my understanding is that 1/3 of it will never be developed. They want to keep marshlands around it, that there's still yet like 1/3 that has yet to be developed. My understanding is also that they're working on something in the back of Fantasyland right now. So it's ever evolving. It's like an ongoing, breathing project. But I hope that this gave you guys an idea that if you were to do an art project, get outside of your head, think about it not being like literally picture perfect. Okay, take your own liberties, make it your own, use different things. I've come to realize that mixed media is basically my choice, it seems, as what I've been working with recently. If you've seen any of my previous small reels that I've done, I recently had 3 pieces in a the same local exhibition, but under a different title for a different thing. And they were all related in one way, shape, or form for me, going with pop culture. And I'm a huge pop culture fan. And one of them is called Under the Sea, Part of This World. And it is basically for my love of The Little Mermaid. The theme for that particular exhibition was pollution or solution, and it was reminding me of all the things that were under the sea in The Little Mermaid. So I may be doing more Disney inspired art in the future. This upcoming fall, they have what's called a dark arts exhibition. I was in that one last year, kind of just as a fluke, had really even planned it out. This year, I'm thinking I'm leaning towards maybe something Disney Haunted Mansion, Disney Villains, or something like that, or maybe Harry Potter, Hogwarts themed, something like that, as I'm a huge fan. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. I think I'm getting this platform down a little bit better. I don't have all the other stuff on the screen that I did last time, so thank you for being patient. If you did put a comment in the chat while I was here, and I did not see it, again, I apologize, because maybe it was going too fast or I had my face turned away from the screen. But they will go like into my inbox. So if you guys have any questions or anything, definitely let me know. And I think I'm going to try to use this channel as much as I can for maybe some tutorials. One of my other lives was a getting to know me, and then the one that I did right after that was talking about the process for intuitive art. And I'm actually doing another intuitive art global soul art day. If you're following me on any of my other channels, I think I tagged it and posted it. And it's open to anybody, and it's global. And that's really cool too, when you're kind of getting downloads to channel things, to create art, because it's, for me anyway, it's a surprise. Like, I don't have anything pre-planned. Sometimes people do, they have an idea of what they want to do, they have an intention. For me, it seems like anytime I've done intuitive art, it's always been just a surprise to me. So I want to thank you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon. Bye.